You keep telling me to make it, yeah. To the spot where we would stay lit, and finish bottles never wasted, yeah. Cause that's where I'm from.
Hello and welcome to an episode of On Campus. This is Ashley Ching, Solano County's Miss Fairfield. Today I'm joined with a special guest, Dr. Scott Corbin, RNDC. He's a Solano grad and a sports chiropractor. Before we get started though, I want to make a special mention to our sports medicine program on campus. You can earn your Associates of Science degree in sports medicine and transfer to university. It's good to have you here today, Scott.
Thanks for having me.
Can you tell us about your experience on healthcare?
Well, I started out first as an orderly in a hospital, became a psychiatric technician, then became an LVN, then became an RN, then became a nurse practitioner, then became a chiropractor.
Okay, so you're a chiropractor now. Currently.
And I also taught. I taught sports medicine at Benicia High School for 15 years.
And being a chiropractor, being a doctor of chiropractic, you're able to help athletes and all the kinds of injuries they experience.
Absolutely. In fact, I like dealing with athletes because they're the only real group of people that listen to you when the pain's gone, since they're interested in human performance. So I like working with athletes.
What kind of sports have the most injuries and what can be done to prevent them?
Well, it depends what group you're working with, whether you're dealing with, quality high school athletes or whether you're dealing with professional athletes. Different groups have different propensities towards different injuries. I would say that most injuries, though, are either overuse or maluse injuries, or use when we don't have proper training to go along with that activity. You see that very commonly with people's workout programs, where they just haven't taken the time or the effort to properly work out, and so they end up dogging themselves with injuries on an ongoing basis.
So they need to warm up before actually working out.
And cool down, really cool down more than warm up. A lot of athletes, for example, will like that sort of that tight feeling after a workout, and they'll leave the gym or they'll leave the workout area with that sense of muscle contraction. Well, that teaches the muscle a whole wrong level of contraction, and it predisposes them to injuries down the road.
So can you walk us through a proper cool down?
Well, basically, whenever you're finally done with your workout, you want to feel as loose as when you started. You don't want that sense of muscular tightness. You don't want a sense of feeling like you worked out as far as musculoskeletally. You want to be overall cooled down.
So how would you actually cool down? What are the steps to
Well, there's
that?
a cardiovascular portion and a musculoskeletal portion. What I would say is employ good basic common sense applications. And remember that if you don't cool down, you're going to feel it. And you feel it most commonly in the form of muscular tightness.
So I'm assuming maybe walk a little bit to just lower your heart rate, stretch.
Stretch and walking are probably two of the best things. The other thing that's really important is to do some breathing afterwards. A lot of people don't breathe. They need to
Take deep breaths for a little bit.
And just relax in the workout area before you jump in your car or whatever and leave.
Maybe 15 minutes.
15 to 20 minutes usually.
Okay. And then stretching, would you say stretch hamstrings or what kind of stretching?
My rule of stretching basically is always stretch from a neutral position to a neutral position. A lot of stretching puts you in very strange positions to begin with, and then you go through a series of behaviors that predispose you to further injury or predispose you to injury. So I would say the basic rule of thumb with stretching is start in a neutral position and end in a neutral position. It should be train, don't strain. There is no gain with pain. So athletes should encourage behavior where it feels good to do the behavior, it doesn't hurt. Pain is the body's way of sort of knocking on the door and saying, don't do that.
I know that from high kick prep, overstretching. Once you overstretch, you're gone. You can no longer perform.
Well, the whole idea of whenever you have an injury is to recover from the injury before you go on. One of the things that I notice that a lot of athletes, especially athletes that deal with weight resistive exercise, will do is they'll get injured, they won't work out, then they'll come back to the gym after being gone a week or two and try to go right back to the same schedule, same weight distribution that they had prior to the injury. They really should use what we call the 25% rule, which is if you've been off for more than a week, you do 25% of the workout for the first 2 days, then go to 50% of the workout for the next 2 days, 75% of the workout for the next 2 days. It takes about 8 days to get back to a full schedule again. As long as you don't have any symptom increases during those times, then you would progress. But if you have a symptom increase, then you sort of stop and take a look at that. A lot of athletes will injure themselves a second or third time because they really don't take the time to reintroduce themselves properly to working out.
I know from my experience just running, I went from 0 to maybe half a marathon. You're going to get injured really fast.
Absolutely.
You don't gradually bring in your workout?
Like I say, it's train, don't strain. There is no gain with pain.
Okay. How about just the kind of stigma that you might face as a chiropractor? Some people may say, you're not a real doctor.
Yeah, I
It's
get that a
unfortunate
lot. My background is in nursing, so I can only address it from that standpoint. Clinical competency is not dependent upon your degree, first of all. And secondly, it's staying within your basic framework of knowledge. Most sports injuries are musculoskeletal. Well, that's right up the chiropractor's alley. If you have diabetes, you need to see an internist. If you have a neurological problem, you might want to see a neurologist. But if you have a biomechanical problem, chiropractic's a good place to start. Any kind of practitioner that deals with a physical medicine protocol. And chiropractors do that probably better than any other discipline.
And as a doctor of chiropractic, you even do physical therapy.
In the state of California, we're licensed to do physiotherapy as well, yeah. And a lot of therapy, and there's a great disparity or discipline change between straight chiropractors and mixer chiropractors. Some chiropractors do just adjusting, they just mobilize and move bone, and some chiropractors use therapy. Some chiropractors use therapy like muscle stem, ultrasound, laser, nutrition, exercise, all kinds of other secondary adjunctive procedures. What I would say is that the best doctor uses what works. And it's hard to keep your hands off somebody, but sometimes the best thing to do is keep your hands off of somebody too. Whether you're a medical doctor or a chiropractor or an osteopath or whatever.
And just let the body heal itself?
Absolutely. That's called homeostasis.
Okay.
When you have a broken bone and you put that bone in a cast, it's not the cast that mends the bone, it's your body that mends the bone. The body knows how to do it for itself.
But we have these athletes who are eager to get back in the game.
Well,
They re-injure themselves.
And they re-injure themselves. And one of the things I would say is, as far as being a healthcare professional, is you have to be a good person at guiding somebody back through that whole journey from dysfunction back to function to optimal function. And then, like I said before, that's why I like working with athletes, is because they're the only group that listens to you when the pain's gone, because they're interested in human performance.
Right.
So that's why I like
They
working
look at
with
it from the long run.
Sure. And from a performance-related issue.
You've been in sports medicine for how many years now?
A lot of years, 30 years.
30 years?
Yeah.
Tell us some stories that you've witnessed throughout your history of working with athletes, some things that stand out.
Well, I some good, some bad. Some of the bad things is I've seen old habits that coaches have learned that they will tell other athletes about that are not necessarily good for the physical body. For example, the use of heat inappropriately, or the use of ice inappropriately. I've also seen some situations where, players have been told that their career's over with and they will recover and rehab and come back 100%. So I've seen both good and bad. The main thing to remember, whether you're dealing with a professional athlete or an amateur athlete, is that you have to take the person where you find them. You have to remember good scientific principles of application, and then understand that everybody responds differently. No two people are going to respond the same way. There are rules and parameters, but you still have to take the individual's circumstance into account. And a lot of practitioners don't do that.
How about just even beyond sports, from a chiropractor's viewpoint, what can we do to prepare ourselves so we're not putting ourselves at risk for hurting our necks or back, shoulders when we're working?
I think the main thing that most Americans and most people need to do is remember they need to use the 4 E's. The first E is educate yourself as to your body, how you use your body. The second E is ergonomics, use your body properly in the environment. The third E is exercise. And the fourth E is evaluate. If you continually do that, you're always going to maintain health. The other thing is remember that no one practitioner is going to be the panacea to all issues. If you've got an internal problem, if I've got diabetes, I should go see an internist. If I've got a musculoskeletal problem, I should probably see a chiropractor or a physical therapist to begin with. And remember, there's good and bad in every profession. I think that's probably the thing that I've learned most from nursing as well, is that there's good and bad in all professions. And just because somebody has a license or they have a degree doesn't mean they know what they're doing. And if you really know a topic, you should be able to explain it to an 8-year-old. So if I tell somebody, here's what you need to be doing, I should be able to explain to you why you need to be doing it. If I can't, then I probably don't know what I'm doing, or I probably don't know it as well as I think I do.
Okay. I'm just thinking of ergonomics. Trying to keep our screen level with the eye is one way to not always be looking down, slouching over, and hurting your alignment.
Just think of the body's a biomechanical structure. And so if you use it properly, it's going to do well for you. Laptops are a real bad source of getting you to close in and close down. We take people as we age and we can't see as well, but we use little small phones and things like that. So just remember proper ergonomics, properly interfacing with the environment. And there are rules of thumb that if you employ and use properly the body will treat you well. If you don't use it well, it's not going to treat you well. And so I would say to especially students, is look at your backpack. Is it too heavy, too big, too awkward? For example, anybody who's had a bad back that doesn't have a hand truck at home is crazy.
Doesn't have a
hand truck or a dolly.
Okay. With wheels.
Right. Work smart, not hard. That's the human experience. And we have a tendency, we think we can get away with things we can't get away with.
A lot of the time, I might have my purse on one shoulder. I should try to.
Well, a backpack should have on both shoulders.
Right.
It should be properly centered. Wearing glasses when you should, or looking at things properly, it makes a big difference. For example, if you're reading a piece of paper and it's way up here or way down here, you have to move your neck to compensate. Well, after a while, you're going to pay a price for that. So I guess that's what I'm saying.
What advice do you have for our student athletes who need to balance both their academics and their time on the field?
Well, what I tell all athletes is this: remember, sports should always, and a lot of athletes will be argumentative about this, but sports should always come second, because you could have that ending career injury at any time. And if you don't develop your mind and all you have is sports and now you can't play sports, what do you have? So I think that all athletes should remember that athletic competition is second to academic competition and academic processes. I think the next thing I would teach everyone, or would like to express to everyone, is that there are athletes that are good at sports and there are athletes that are not so good at sports. In the final analysis, when you're 45, very few of us are going to be playing sports professionally. So remember that, and remember that what you do want is you want to use your body intelligently throughout your life so that you're able to move properly in the environment without feeling those aches and pains of arthritis or whatever that people begin to experience at this age in life. And that pain is never normal. That's the other thing I would try to explain to people. Pain is, people say, well, gee, it's just aches and pains. Well, aches and pains are never normal. If you use your body properly, your body will do well for you. If you don't use your body properly, it's not going to do well for you.
So I think the biggest takeaways here throughout our interview is cool down, take 15 minutes at least to gradually come back from your workout. Any other big points you want to give our viewers?
Just yard what you eat. If you're going to eat junk food in, junk food out. You need to be drinking good water. And there's all kinds of difference in water, and we're not even going to go into that right now, but there's differences. What you take in and how you take it in is going to make a difference of how you put it out. And that deals with whether it's exercise and physiology or whether that's dealing with attitude and how you deal with stress. And that the better you are equipped at dealing with those issues, the better you're going to feel and the better job you're going to do in life.
Thank you for coming here today, Dr. Corbin.
Thanks for having me.
Again, this is Ashley Ching, the city's Miss Fairfield, with On Campus at Solano College Sports Network. Remember to respect yourself, teach people how to treat you, and know you can walk away.
Hi, I'm Dr. Celia Esposito Noy. Thanks for watching the Solano College Sports Network.
If you are interested in a career in sports broadcasting,
whether you're commentating a live game,
or hosting your own TV show,
or working behind the scenes, then this is the class for you.
For more information, contact Greg Poff, that's me, at solano.edu.
we hope to see you here next semester, and remember,
it's more than just sports, it's an education.